Hey guys, Bill here with Gallon Gun Dogs and the Woe Post, and today we're going to talk about crate training. For our training aid today, we've got Yeti. Yeti is a 7-month-old Brittany. He's a client dog in for some bird work, but so Yeti is a kennel dog at his home. Normally, client was talking about potentially bringing him into the home. I think the spouse is not comfortable with it, but here at Gallon Gun Dogs, all of our client dogs, all of our dogs live in the home with us. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kennels here. You have to work for these, bud. Just a moment, sir. We have 5 crates here. We only have 2 dogs of our own, so we always try to house our client dogs here in the home with us, and that's part of the package, part of the training package when you put your dog here with Gallon Gun Dogs. Getting back to crate training. So crate training is our first step to potty training, housebreaking, if you want to call it that. But you're going to want to work, I hope. I like to call it space training because the dog lives in the space that I provide for the dog. When the dog is in the house initially, the only space that the dog gets is what's in his crate. And eventually, as we learn to trust each other a little bit more, we get to know each other better, I learned that I can trust the dog understands the rules of the house, then the space will expand. The crate is a place where your dog is always safe. Only good things ever happen in the crate. The crate's not for punishment. It's not, you never yell at your dog in the crate or anything like that. Only good things happen. That is the dog's place to go, to relax, to nap, to unwind, to think, and to just be comfortable and to be safe. Yeti seems to be fine with the front of the crate. And I'll tell you, initially he was not happy about the crate, but what's important is that when you're doing your crate training session, particularly if we're talking adopted dogs or foster dogs, the dog has to go in on its first evening. You generally wouldn't trust an adopted dog or a foster dog to have free range of your home in the first night. The dog really should be crated. So success in this initial crate training session is of utmost importance, right? The method that we're about to use works really well for adolescent or adult dogs. Like, Yeti here is an adolescent dog, 7 months old. Works well for adult dogs. For puppies, there's a few extra steps that I like to transition from the litter to the crate. And we can go over that in another video. I know you like it, bud. Some people think that the crates are mean, and they're really not. Think of the crate as a playpen for a kid, or as a baby gate, or whatever. It restricts the dog's access to things that could injure the dog or things that the dog could injure. Now, while a dog is crate training, I don't use a pad or any sort of a bed for the dog or anything like that. Watch your toes, bud. The reason for that is the dog should not want to go to the bathroom at all inside the crate. A lot of dogs will understand that this pad right here, you'll see pads in our other crates. This pad can actually keep them off of the urine or away from the poop, and they're less likely to want to hold it for longer. So early on, the dogs don't get a pad. Once I know that I can trust them in their crate, then they can get their pads. But also, we're going to stay over here, buddy. If the dog does decide to go to the bathroom in the crate, there needs to be immediate consequences. And no dog likes to lay in their own urine or sit in their own poop. It's not wired into the dogs. They don't like to do it. So by having the hard crate bottom where the pee or the poop would collect, it actually deters the dog from, you can't eat that, come on buddy. It does deter the dog from going to the bathroom in the crate. Missing out on some opportunities, but we'll catch up to them later. Now I do have Yeti on a leash here because I want him to stay in our work area. So step one is to get Yeti comfortable with being around the crate, and I think he's already pretty comfortable. But if this was a dog that we had to bring over, using the leash, we could, Yeti, over here, just gentle pressure. And then as he gets closer to the crate, when he looks over, I'm going to mark that and I'm going to give him a reward. And it would have been better if I was a little bit more ready for the reward. For this training, we're using free shaping as much as possible, meaning that we're going to let the dog make decisions to move closer to the crate. Now, since this is something that we do have to get to near 100%, this is something we have to get to near 100% completion in one session. We will use luring if we have to. Yeah, he's getting way ahead of us, but that's okay. We'll use luring where we have to in order to keep things moving in the right direction. I'm gonna move this bowl behind me here. We're also using very high value rewards in this case. We're using hot dogs, and that's just done to speed things along. Normally, I would just use training treats or even just as kibble on training sessions where we could kind of drag it out a little bit more. Now, as Yeti continues to show interest in his crate, I'm going to mark and I'm going to reward that for him. And we're not going to allow him to go backwards or even spend too much time on the same thing. He's going to learn that anytime he looks in the direction of the opening of the crate, then he'll get a treat. These things right here are not going to get him a reward, so he's going to get frustrated. Now, he may get a little bit of a reward from licking my hand because it's got hot dog juice on it. I'll try not to let that happen as much as possible. Right now, he's looking at me, trying to figure out how he can get another reward. As he starts to move closer to the crate, then that's when we're going to mark and we're going to reward that. And we can give him little cues here and there to get him to help him make the right decision. This could take a while. If you do get stuck, normally I would let this go a little while longer, but if you do get stuck, we can look for him to make the right decision by luring, meaning we take a treat and we move it closer to the crate, and then as he moves in, mark and reward. And we're going to look for him to make that same decision again. Now he's looking at me for the reward. There it was. Good one. Good boy. When he looks at me for the reward, I want to disengage that because I'm not trying to reward him looking at me. I want to reward him moving towards the crate. And I always reward him back towards the crate so that he doesn't come back to me to get the treat. But every time he moves a little bit farther, he's going to get another reward. Mark and reward. We can also potentially help him by staring into the crate. If he's really fixated on us as a target, we can stare at the crate and see if he'll actually look to where we are looking. Almost. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. We want to avoid luring Yeti into the crate. We want him to get the reward for going into the crate. We don't want to have him go into the crate to get the reward. And the nuance there seems a little bit semantical, but it really isn't. He should be rewarded for the behavior, not do the behavior because of the reward. I'm going to lean harder into the crate. And he's already done this, so he's not getting this reward. He's got to go a little bit farther. Ooh, this is really, really good. So this is a big step, so he gets a big, big reward. Now at this point, I'm going to let him stay in the crate. If he wants to come out, he's more than welcome to come out. He can come out on his own terms right now, and that's fine. We're just going to fix the leash. Let him come out on his own terms, because our goal is to get him to go back in. Good boy. Good boy. And if he won't come out, that's okay. We can bring him out. And I release all of our dogs with their name. So if I want him to come out, I'll just say Yeti. And then gently coax him out. He'll come out. Good dog. Good boy. Now I'm going to stare back inside the crate and see if I can get him to go back in. Good boy. Now remember, we're not going to let him go backwards. He's got to go back inside the crate in order to get another reward. Good boy. He's trying to figure out what he needs to do to get another treat. He's not really sure. We can give him little assurances here and there. Just, good boy. Good boy. At this point, he's really not sure what to do, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to motion him into the crate, see if we can just show him, excuse me, sir, you're on video. Let's not do that. Hey, Yeti. Yeti. Good. Yeti, good boy. I'm going to allow him to back up on this one. Maybe going in that crate on that one was just a fluke. So we are going to have to rewind a little bit because he's really not understanding what to do to get the treat. So we're going to show him again. Good. Good boy. And we're going to bring the treat towards the crate. And I'll see if we can get him to do it on his own. Staring back inside the crate and not looking at the dog. Good boy. Good boy. No. Since he's already had his head inside the crate, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the head, his nose inside the crate. And that's the minimum behavior that we're going to accept. Now he's done the nose inside the crate, so now we're really looking for most of his head, at least, to be inside the crate for his next behavior in order to get the next reward. So we did talk about luring to jumpstart things, and I think we may have to do that in this case because he's really not sure what to do. So we're going to show him the treat. We're going to bring the treat into the crate, and we're going to click when he performs the next behavior. And now we're going to look for him to do it on his own. We may have to lure more than once. In this case, we are going to have to, obviously, because he just laid down. So it's important to not mark until the behavior is conducted, or in some cases complete, depending on which clicker training methodology you're using. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. You almost got a click there. I think if he had moved just a little bit farther, he'd have gotten one. But he's not getting it because he's actually moving away from the door. So we may have to show him a little bit more. We'll do one more lure in. Hey, what is that? we're going to lure him in further, then we're going to force him to make a decision to go a little bit farther. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I want to see a paw in there this time. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. What is this? Okay, what is that? Good boy. Good boy. Let's see a paw go in there, huh? Good boy. Let's see it. Good dog. Good boy. Remember, he can come out whenever he wants to right now because he's making the decision to go in. We're going to continue to lure him because this is what's working to get us into the crate with Yeti. Oh, you don't get no freebie. Oh, good boy. Good boy. You almost got a freebie there because I dropped it. This time we're going to look for 2 paws in there at a minimum. It may require me to get out of my chair. Good boy. He's all the way in. Big jackpot treats because he's all the way in. You just stepped on a hot dog, knucklehead. There's one in there. You can still have it. Where is it? You're Brittany. I know you got a nose on you. You find it. Now, since he's in, we're going to advance this a little bit. We're going to close the door just a little. Mark. Reward. Good boy. We'll close it just a little bit more. Mark. Reward. Good boy. We're going to close it all the way, almost all the way. It's on the leash. It won't go quite all the way. Mark. And reward. It's okay to have a little bit of a break in between the mark and the reward as long as he associates the mark with the behavior. That's what we're really looking for here. And he's already been introduced to the clicker, so he knows what behavior we're looking for. He just sat down in there. I'm going to give him another treat because now he's starting to settle inside the crate, which we really like to see. I'm going to point out this other hot dog to him. It's been sitting in there. Good boy. Good boy. And if he lays down, we're gonna treat him again. Good dog. Good boy. That's another jackpot reward right there. He gets a bunch of treats because this is a big behavior right here. Him settling inside the crate is exactly what we're looking for. His nose is back, so we're going to close the door just a little bit again. I'm going to grab a treat. Mark. Reward. Good boy. Now I'm going to take the leash off, and he'll know that he's making these decisions now. He can go wherever he wants. He's a fast dog. I'm going to close the door without locking it. Latch is in the way. There we go. So the door is not locked right now. Good boy. He's pretty settled. He's actually looking at the treats because he knows what's coming. That's okay. I'll look for him to settle just quickly. I'll take that. I'll take that. Good boy. He's got his head outside the crate. If his head goes back in, we're going to mark and reward. I don't know if I'm going to give him credit for that because he really just looked up to the hot dogs over here. He's going to come out, he's going to get nothing. If he goes back in, he'll get his reward. Good boy, good boy, good boy. If he comes back out and he goes back in, then it's a pretty safe assumption that he understands the required behavior. It's a pretty safe assumption now, but I think one more time, one more rep would solidify that. And then we can start to give it a name, and you can call it whatever you want. What I like to do is I just open up the crate doors and I say the dog's name. They know when the door's open and I'm standing there, the expectation is that they go inside. If I call the dogs, if I say the dog's name, then they know that they're released to go do what they want to do. Good boy, good boy. From here on out, it's a safe assumption he understands what the behavior is. We can give it a name. My name, like I said, is I would just say his name when he's here and the door is open, because he knows, and all the dogs know, when they go into their crates, they get a milk bone every time. Another good thing to do is feed the dog inside their crate. The good thing to do with that is, you can send the dog into their crate first, give them their bowl of food. They can eat in there, and then you leave the dog in there for 2 to 4 hours. The dog gets his good after food nap, and in breeds that are prone to bloat or injuries like that, you've given the dog 2 to 4 hours to digest before they start doing activities again. While he's sitting there, a lot of people ask, what size crate do I need to get? The rule of thumb is that the dog needs to be able to stand up without the withers, which is the top of the dog's shoulders, touching the top of the crate. From there, if the dog is standing, the withers are not touching the top of the crate, and the dog can spin around and lie down, that's the size crate that you want. If you go too large, the dog feels more like it's in a room than it is in a crate, and at that point, you're not restricting the dog's movement. You're not space training the dog anymore. You're just giving the dog a safer space, right? What a good boy. Another important thing to note is that the dog's got to be able to go in. The crate has to be the right size with the mat inside the crate, because ultimately we're putting the mat back in so the dog can be a little bit more comfortable in there. So if it's borderline with the mat outside of the crate, then you need to go up one size. I'm going to bring him back out, because then we're going to send him back in, and I'm going to jackpot him inside the crate. We call it giving him room service. So when he does that last behavior, he puts everything together and he's done everything that we want him to do. We'll give him room service inside of his crate. And in this case, for Yeti, it's a full hot dog plus the remainder of the pieces that are left. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a great treat for our dogs. So let's see if we can bring him out real quick. Yeti, come. Come on, buddy. Hey, hey. He knows staying in there is getting him treats. So why would I come out there if I get treats from coming in? Come on, buddy. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Good boy. Come on. I don't want to treat him to come out. I don't want to lure him out, because I don't want to have to go through luring him back in. So let's see if we can just get him to come out on his own. Hey, hey, what you got? Good boy. You don't want to come out now, do you? You didn't want to go in before. Good boy. Good dog. Good boy. Come on out, buddy. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Lots of praise, but no reward. No solid food reward. No hot dog for this. And we'll see if we can get him to go back in. And when we do, click jackpot, room service, hot dog and change. Isn't that good, buddy? Good boy. And then we're going to close the door. Good boy. Good dog. Again, our goal during the day after meals or whatever, 2 to 4 hours to let him digest. Overnight, as long as the dog can hold his bladder based on age or whatever. All right, a couple of quick tips. If your dog's having a hard time settling in the crate, a couple of good things to do are the first biggest thing would be to cover the crate with a blanket, and you can really cover the crate all the way. There's still going to be enough airflow for the dog to be able to breathe, to have enough oxygen, things like that. But covering the crate oftentimes allows the dog to feel more secure, feel like it has its own safe space. Another thing you can do is have some soft background noise, talk radio or soft music in the background. Nothing loud, nothing fast, just something that if it sounds soothing to you, it might sound soothing to a dog. I've seen it work from time to time. Some people like with puppies to keep the crate close to their bed at night early on to help the puppy settle so that they can smell the owner there. That may work, but for our purposes right now, we're talking about adolescent dogs and adults, and they should be able to settle themselves shortly, you know, within a few minutes. Definitely never give in to the whining or the crying or the scratching or pawing or anything like that. The dog always comes out of the crate on your terms, not on the dog's terms. So wait for the dog to settle and then go let the dog out. And if the dog's jumping at the door to the crate when you come down, turn your back to the dog, walk away, wait for the dog to settle, turn around and come back. We're conditioning the dog to be relaxed, to be calm, to adapt to the crate, and we're not allowing the dog to condition us. Thanks for watching. My name is Bill. This is Yeti. Hope you have a great day.